Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This time we'll try to study Tejo Bindu Upanishad. We normally have heard about few Upanishads which are called as major Upanishads. But there is nothing like major or minor Upanishad. Like there is nothing like elementary physics. Physics is the same. The students are elementary. In the same manner, there is nothing like minor Upanishad and major Upanishad. All Upanishads are the same. However, whatever the Westerners do, we follow blindly. They have called some Upanishad as major and some as minor. And we have become a victim of that thought process. So, those Upanishads on which Bhagwan Shankaracharya has written commentary, they are referred as major Upanishads. And those Upanishads on...
Hello, check, hello.
ठीक है अभी? Can everybody hear?
Yes.
Those Upanishads on which Bhagwan Shankaracharya has not written any special commentary. Hey, mic gone. गया. मेरा किस वापस करो.
Hello, hello.
क्या मुंह के अंदर में डालूं क्या? Is it okay now? Oh my God, I have to talk. हाँ, थोड़े आवाज बड़ी कर लो. Okay, I'll talk like this. I have never kissed anybody. Anyway, first time experience. That to a dead one. So, it was not possible to write commentary on all the Upanishad, but the very word Upanishad tells, Upanishad Shabdena Brahma Vidya Uchyate. He writes in his commentary in one of the Upanishad, Upanishad is not a book. Upanishad is not a thing. Upanishad is you and me. Brahma Vidya is not the Vidya of Brahman, like Paka Vidya, the Vidya of cooking, stories, or it is not the Shastra Vidya, preparing the Shastras. No, it is the knowledge itself. Therefore, Upanishad, we do not mean something different. It is talking about our own self. Now, in this Upanishad, it is a very different type of Upanishad. There are 6 chapters. And here we got only first chapter because there was no time for us to get it done. So somehow I downloaded it yesterday, got it printed, and it's for you. Don't do the proofreading. There are many mistakes. I know you will not understand that. That is why it is said, ignorance is bliss. In this Upanishad, the first 14 verses that we have chanted, the truth is indicated in its entirety as our essential nature. After that, where do we seek this truth? See, recently I have seen one movie, Kung Fu Panda 3. Have you seen Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, 3? If you have not seen, you have wasted your life. In that Kampu Panda 1, a thought comes. The whole story goes, and that Panda who becomes a Kampu master, he finally gets a role in which the secret is written with great difficulty. And when he gets the secret role and he opens it, it is completely blank. Nothing is written there. And he gets so frustrated, and in the frustration, that roll falls from his hand near a water pool. And then he looks into that. And in that water pool, he sees his own reflection. See? On the spiritual path, knowing is being. It is not the knowledge of self. It is not the knowledge of Brahman. When this knowing is being is the fundamental understood by us, then alone the study of Upanishad carries meaning. Otherwise it becomes only scholarship and erudition. And when erudition and scholarship is there, there are words without meaning. And then it becomes only a research paper. See? There was one Bengali girl in Siliguri. Actually it should be Siliguri, but they call it Siliguri. Punjabi no. Punjabi, Kudi means a girl. Sili we all know. So, in the Siliguri, there was one girl. She came after my talk and said, Swamiji, I want to ask you some difficulties. I am doing PhD on Gita, and I have discovered there are many meaningless verses in Bhagavad Gita. Original Bhagavad Gita cannot have 700 verses. It is not right. So, I have done research on Gita. And according to me, there are many verses which are meaningless. For example, I said, may I give the example? So you also agree? I said, I don't agree, but I can give the example. And then I quoted her from 9th chapter. In 9th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina matthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha nachamastani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhuta brunnacha bhutastaha mamatma bhuta bhavana. I, the formless, permeate all the forms. Therefore, all the forms are in me, but I am not in the forms. And to be very frank with you, neither they are in me nor I am in them. Understood? All contradictions. And therefore she was so thrilled. Wow, you know this. I also agree. This is a meaningless verse. See, friends, remember one principle of spiritual life. Wherever you come across contradictions, behind all the contradictions, the truth is hidden. Take this message of today's lecture. Behind all opposites, behind all contradictions, the truth is hidden. Joy, sorrows, loss, gain, victory, defeat, friend, enemy, father, son. Behind them, the truth is hidden. See? For example, if you want to know the vision, what you have to do? You have to get out of the differences in the colors. Yellow, green. No. Green color contradicts the yellow, yellow contradicts the green. But vision is beyond them. When we thus are able to transcend all the contradictions, we reach the reality. And this is what we have to learn. And therefore, in this Upanishad, initial verses, don't go according to English translation, that is not done by me. We have just downloaded because it was free download. So, We'll start now from the first verse. Again I'll chant and you repeat now. Om Tejo Bindu Param Dhyanam Vishwatma Vridi Samsthitam Anavam Shambhavam Shantam Sthula Sukshma Param Jayata. There are three types of activities that are conducted under the disguise of religion or spirituality or philosophy. Three things. Either we are involved in the gross world or we are involved in the gross body. For such people, there is one approach as a spiritual practice. Second, either we are involved in the various experiences or we are involved in invocation of the divine power through the devotion. The second approach. The third approach is we are neither interested in the material world nor interested in the divine powers, but we go beyond and we want to know to whom these powers and this world belongs. Technically speaking, this is called as Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik and Adhyatmik. So this meditation is also done in this three way. Therefore, Tejo Bindu Param Dhyanam Vishwatma Vridi Samsthitam. So the dhyana, one has to become aware on the Tejo Bindu. Be attentive. Bindu or a dot does not have dimension like a pixel. Doesn't have a dimension. And when more than one bindu, one points or dots are there and you join them, a line is created. The moment the lines are created, the world has come into existence. See? So we have to come to that point. After that, no second point comes. For example, our day-to-day experience. When we go to sleep, that is the bindu. One thought, one experience, bindu. Thereafter, no second thought, no second event, no sequence, and we merge in the absolute consciousness. Therefore, Tejo Bindu Param Dhyanam, meaning come to this one point. Don't allow the second thing to happen. Like we say, oh, stop there. We'll come to know silence is uncreated, unmodifying, unending, eternal, while the sounds are created, modifying, ending and destructible. When we come to Bindu, one point, we merge in the infinite. Tejo Bindu Param Dhyanam. This is the ultimate meditation. And where Vishwatma Vridi Samsthitam. And this is the Atma, the essence of the total creation. Vishwa. It is not like in the Yoga Shastra, in Sankhya, in Buddhism, in Jainism, in Karma Kanda, in devotion, in Kundalini Marga, in the Siddha Marga. They all the time talk about there is one soul per body. We are not talking about one soul per body. There is but one reality expressing through all the bodies. And therefore, here, Vishwatma Vridi Samsthitam, it is the essence of the total universe. And where Vridi Samsthitam, it is our own being. Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. सर्वस्य चाहम हृदि सन्निविष्टः मत्तः स्मृति ज्ञानम अपोहनञ्च वेदैश्च सर्वै अहमेव विद्यः. So सर्वस्य च अहम हृदि सन्निविष्टः. This I is the bindu. Who is this I? Aham. The meaning of this aham is a means not. Like shoka, ashoka. Vikara, avikara. Similarly, the moment you come to this, not, ham, hananam, destruction, that which cannot be destroyed is the truth. We have no experience of our death. This eternal presence is mentioned here. Om Tejo Bindu Param Dhyanam Vishvatma Vriddhi Samsthitam. Now, this is practiced by different types of seekers in different ways. Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, and Adhyatmik. Three types of seekers. So those who are Adi Bhautik type means those who are body oriented or those who are world oriented. For them, spiritual practice is what? You should serve the people. You should organize the blood donation camp and suck people's blood. You should collect funds and celebrate Ganeshotsav. Social service. For them, this gross world is real. And doing everything for this gross world, that becomes their spirituality. First. The second, this is they call it dharma. Dharma always talks only about this thing. You should do good to others, you should not be selfish, you should try to make others happy, you may be miserable. That is how all the NGOs are born. You know, NGO means what? Non-godly organizations. They collect the funds from the government and make their things very comfortable. That is because they take this world very real. The second type of people, they take the body as the reality. And for them, yoga means twisting the body. Whole life goes only in. I can do this asana, I can do that asana. Standing on one leg. And oh, it was so lovely. For whom? For the other leg. It was relaxed. But for them, this body asana has become the only thing. They are at the periphery of the personality, far away. Adi Bhautik. So those who are lost in dharma and yoga, body-oriented yoga, they are at the Adi Bhautik, matter-oriented in their life. Second type, they are called as Anavam. Anu, in the Yoga Shastra, Anu means Jiva. See? In Jainism, this word Anu is used. You know, in Kathmandu, there is a temple, Pashupatinath. That Pashu is called as Anu. Pati is Ishvara. Natha is the one who is expressing as Jiva and Ishvara. Pashupati Nath. The same Paramatma, through the limitation of the Maya, is called as Ishvara. Through the limitation of Panchakoshas, is called as Jiva. Pashupati Nath. In the same manner, Anavam. So, such people, their meditation is only this. Do good to the world. Then I feel so good, you know. The other day somebody was hungry and I gave him food and he was feeling so good. But more than that, I felt good. I fed somebody, poor miserable fellow. Therefore, never have compassion for anybody. If you have to have, serve with love. Compassion means you are feeling pity on that person. Your attention is on what he doesn't have. Your attention is not what he is. He is a divine. See, friends, basic difference. For them, Anavam Dhyanam. This is the meaning of meditation for them. And such people say, what is this simply sitting in one place? You should go to the society, work hard, go to the school and teach the children. And your own children never listen to you. Therefore you get somebody else's children who will listen to you. See, Aurangzeb had put his father, Shah Jahan, in jail. So he asked him, my dear son, anyway, I am captivated, I have no choice. But can you do one favor to me? And he said, yes, give me some children. I will teach in Madarsa Quran to them. He said, okay. And he collected 100, 200 children and gave to the father. Now the one who was constantly ruling as a king, he wants to rule continuously. If nothing is available, somebody else's children. This is how the social workers go and serve the society, because they have already destroyed their own family. Satya hai. This is Anavam Dhyanam. This is the meaning of meditation for such people who are too gross oriented. The second is Shambhavam Dhyanam. Shambhavam Dhyanam is they are all the time in the Shambhavi Mudra and all the time only awakening the Kundalini. Now be attentive. Evolved are those who are working on the Kundalini than those who are working only on the body. Kundalini awakening is the awakening of the energy, channelizing it properly. It is something like, our attention is on the tube light shape and size or on the light. Therefore, those people who follow this path of Kundalini, they will be always talking about, observe this, these people following the path of Kundalini or those who are following the path of Dharma or Karma, they always talk about last life, this life, next life. Remove that from their theme, they have nothing to talk. And what is this? It is nothing but cause and effect. Last life, so you have done something wrong to that lady, therefore this life she has come as your wife. Now she is going to take full revenge. Because last life when you are torturing her, she was observing Karwa Chauth. It is actually not Karwa Chauth. You people don't know. See, like Da is pronounced as Ra. Understood? So it is a Kadwa Chauth. It is not Karwa Chauth. Like Baroda, तो Baroda कहते हैं ना. So it is a Kadwa Chauth. So that next life, यहाँ जाओगे कहाँ? Such people all the time talk about last life, this life, next life, sin and merit, going to hell and heaven. That is the only theme that they have. They cannot go beyond it. But the purpose of this thing is not understood by them. Therefore, they get entangled in this Kundalini awakening, and as the energy becomes purified and channelized properly, all the dormant potentialities in them, they start surfacing. When these divine potentialities start surfacing in them, they get caught up into it. See, when the worldly achievements, somebody becomes, let us say, MP or MLA, once he becomes, he doesn't want to give up that chair, because once he gets the taste of the power, he cannot give it up. Like in the outer world, success is a great bondage. In the same manner, in the inner world, when your energy is channelized properly, many divine power starts surfacing in you. You tell somebody, beta, tumhara kaam ho jayega, and it happens. And then you become a Babaji with a photograph posture. friends. And then we remain there only. There was one Mahatma, he did a lot of tapasya. In this Kundalini Marga, tapasya is the most important thing. They did a lot of tapasya. And then God appeared. Yes, what do you want? I cannot see the miseries of these worldly people. People are dying of cancer. Please give me the power that my one drop of blood should be able to cure their cancer. Bhagwan said, Tadhastu. Next day, like those who learn homeopathy by opening the books. The next day they get up, they have got only one thing. They will go from house to house. Everything is okay in your house? But uncle, why come you have come? No, I just wanted to know. Everything is all right. No, our grandfather, he is having knee pain. Okay. He will open his book. Next Bhumika 30. Because he has learnt it. Exactly the same way. This fellow has got his power. That his one blood up drop will cure the cancer. So he came across a person, cancer. Don't worry, come. He just pricked, test it. Go. You see these Ashirwad brand Babajis, their behavior is very different type. He will not say, please go. Go. And his cancer was cured. Do you think he will keep quiet? Immediately on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Twitter, everywhere. Next day, 10,000 people standing in a queue in front of Mahatma's kutia. And when he saw, oh God, they will suck away my total blood. Again he prayed to Lord, Lord, take it away. One gets caught up in these divine powers, we start manifesting. In Yoga Darshan also it is very clearly said, all these vibhutis are antaralas, they are the obstacles on the path of spiritual evolution. They tie you down in this world. Then you want to do good to the world, never do good to the world. Let goodness happen through you without claiming that I am doing good to the world. Like a sun never claims, I am giving light to the world. A flower never claims, I am giving fragrance to the world. It happens. This is in fact the real spiritual practice. But those who are lost in this Shambhavam Dhyanam, they will be all the time thinking in terms of awakening the Kundalini. See, there is one book which will come tomorrow, and that book is Shiva Sutra Sadhana in Hindi. Those who are Rashtra Bhasha oriented, they can read in that book. I have given in great details. And this Kundalini awakening is the most confused and confounding path. You will hardly come across somebody who can really guide. And this should not be done independently by one's own choice. One has to be in a physical contact and nearness of the teacher, then only you can walk this path. It is not for the masses. It is not for giving the mass sahaja samadhi diksha. All the whole lot comes, samadhi. Okay. Nothing is going to happen. Therefore, second, this was Shambhavam. They are interested only invocation of the powers of the energy. And the third is Shantam. And the third meditation is only getting lost in peace. Therefore, you must have come across in many ashrams. They observe Maunam. Don't talk to anybody. Don't look at anybody. When you are walking, you walk with your vision down only up to your toes. You should not see beyond the toes. You may dash each other, but don't see each other. Like that. So that, thank God, now I can talk slowly. I was shouting and shouting and shouting. I know it makes no difference to anybody. So, this third Shantam is the one wherein they give too much importance to the peace. All the time. Meditation in progress. Keep quiet. If you are late, don't enter. We are already suffering itself. Don't get lost in that. See, Gira Maunam tu Balanam. Not talking by speech is for babies. That is not the real Maunam. I had told in some of my talks, this happened in Haridwar many years before. I don't know whether Vijesh Bhai or somebody was with me. You were there? So when we were going and we wanted to go and see, he said, Swamiji, we can go and see Mahatma. I said, let's go. When I do namaskar to a statue, why not to Mahatma? So we went there. Then he said, no, Mahatma ji is in Maunam, he doesn't come. So okay, we'll go back. Again that secretary came and called, come, Mahatma ji is calling you. I said, how can he call me? He is on Maunam. No, you come. So we went. And then I asked, Vijesh, come. He said, no, he cannot go. I said, you enjoy, I am going to somewhere. So we went inside. And that Mahatma ji, name I will not tell you. And he was sitting on a very big chair. I was given a plastic chair, plastic Mahatma, plastic chair, disposable. So I was kept there. And then he started writing on a paper. What is your name? Gadbadananda. I wrote something. Where from you have come? Something you have to write. Vrindavan. Because you must know where to reply what. Suppose I say Hollywood, you will doubt it. So I should write Vrindavan. Then is a Mahatma. Where do you stay here? So say something in this ashram. Now he is writing and I am also replying in writing. He is writing, I am replying in writing. I forgot I can talk. I was not on Maunam. And when I realized, I laughed. And he also realized, he also laughed. Then I asked him, now I have started talking, please tell me in Maunam, laughing is allowed? Maunam. See, Manaprasada, Saumyatvam, Maunam, Atma Vinigraha. See, don't give too much importance to Shanti. Don't give too much importance to discipline. Don't give too much importance to cleanliness. See? One person asked me this question. Somebody, what is the secret of your happiness? I said, I am abnormal. Then you will be happy. How come? I like chaos. You can never be miserable. Everywhere there is a chaos.